Ladies and gentlemen, researchers, academicians, good day to you. My name is Dr. Navidreza Ahadi. I am reaching out to you from King Mongkut Institute of Technology, Ladkrabang Business School. The topic of my keynote today is the impact of satellite technology in digitizing agricultural businesses. And I'm going to focus on the advantage and benefit of satellite technology toward small-scale farmers. As we know, satellite technologies have been around for decades now, and it hasn't really been so much part of agricultural for the past few decades as much as it has been for the past, let's say, 10 years. So it's relatively new compared to the usage of satellite technology for many other areas. And it can be used for monitoring the land, understanding, for example, or what time you need to water it, or which area needs more fertilizer, when it's the time for you to actually farm and so forth. It gives you also other information such as atmosphere monitoring, emergency management, disaster management, marine environment, and also climate. Recently, various companies, they have started to privatize using satellite technology and also offering their services. So it's not just large multinational public companies, there are also now smaller size businesses which are taking advantage of these satellite technologies and their numerous benefits, which I'm gonna discuss in the following slides. Here is an example of what a land could look like from satellite. As you can see, the waterways, rivers, different crops, which is being farmed in different colors over here. So when we're talking about the usage of satellite technology in digitizing farming industry, we mainly are talking about precision farming, which is a method that uses data-driven feedback loop to determine how to optimize the farm at the highest extent. So by observing, experimenting, understanding the map of these farms, they are able to actually boost and give them economical advantages, reduce their environmental risk, and just in case if there are, for example, disasters, or there could be natural disasters occur, they can let them know in advance so they can prepare themselves and again reduce their expenses and also their potential damage. Furthermore, it also gives them more advantages on, for example, making sure that their crops are getting perfect amount of fertilizers. If not, they can be alarmed and they can actually try to boost up their farming in other ways. And also access to resources which can be used in precious farming is a resource-based, which it's all about efficiency. So what we're trying to achieve through digitizing of farming and taking advantage of actually satellite technology is to make sure we can maximize efficiency and making sure we can reduce the waste and potential risk to farmers. And this is particularly important when it comes to smaller scale farming, because larger scale farming they have a very well established system. Usually, they have a good funding that takes care of their farm. Usually, larger companies are taking care of the land directly or indirectly. Smaller scale farming, it's more efficient because usually a smaller scale farming are owned by smaller group of people, families who have been working on land sometimes for generation. And this kind of intelligence will help them boost their efficiencies and also reduce their risk as well. There are about 37% of our planet which is mainly used for agriculture. Considering the fact that our population is growing, there are there is a global warming. There are also lots of environmental issues that comes with it, as well as we see a lot of drought in different parts of the world. We do not have enough water in certain places to actually sustain farming and to keep up with the population anymore. So although the goal of farming is to make it as sustainable as possible, minimize the input and maximize the output, it can be definitely beneficial to actually use satellite technologies to boost up our farming now more than ever. So how would satellite technologies actually improve farming in the future and also presently? There are several factors which I have picked a few to actually share with you here today. First thing is satellite technologies, they have their own pros and cons. They have their own limitation as well. So to actually cope up with the limitations satellite have, many companies are coming up with UAVs and satellite matches. So unmanned aerial aircrafts or UAVs and even drones, they can basically help along with satellite technologies to help a larger scale and even a smaller scale with every inch of your farm and on weekly basis. So you can monitor it almost every week to understand how your crops are growing, whether there are some issues in certain part of your land, whether some crops are not growing fast enough, whether some crops are not getting enough water or getting too much water. These can all be reflected through satellite technology and with some help from UAV as well to get a better and more efficient result. And so these resolution and informational content of data or cloud cover can significantly affect the quality of satellite imagery as well. So that's why UAV comes in help of satellite technologies when it comes to small and larger scale mining. There are many different companies and satellite providers such as Geosys, Planet Lab, Astro Digital, and many others, which actually are now focusing on basically providing the farmer for the ability to make data-driven decision and be able to run their farm more effectively, especially because the smaller scale miner are usually weaker in terms of sustainability, in terms of being able to finance their farm and so forth. If a potential disaster actually occur for a smaller scale miner, it's much harder for them to recover. And these are other factors why smaller scale farming can significantly benefit from the digitizing their farming through imageries and also through providing data-driven technologies and satellite technologies. The other benefit of using satellite is actually to monitor the find, as I briefly mentioned. So target your scouting effort and then be able to weekly, monthly, or sometimes every couple of days to update the farmers with the area, how the crops are growing, if there are any issues, and optimize it as well. And like the most popular remote sensing method is actually to identify the problematic regions, which is usually called NDVI. There are others as well, which help to detect plant vigor and that characterize the health and the strength of a plant. So in terms of several factors when it comes to farming, from the fact that whether the farm is healthy or not, the fact that whether it's getting enough fertilizers, water, and so forth, it can significantly be important. And we have to understand one thing: satellite will give you leverages, will give farmers leverages that we simply cannot get it only through UAVs or through, for example, just monitoring it by human resource and the staff that they have on the farm. The other factors include optimized use of nutrition-based and variable rate application. So, for example, there are several satellite imagery companies that provide prescription maps to optimize nutrition application. For example, they can be uploaded to agri-machinery to increase input efficiency and field productivity, and also well, because the accuracy and reliability of nutrition detected in various crops still need to be validated due to biological and environmentally complexities, but still these are progress that we have made in farming, and in the future they can even make it more efficient. There are also optimized watering schedule, for example, especially in smaller scale farming. This can be quite significant because there are times and there are a limited amount of water which has to be divided between several farmers in the specific area. So the crops need the right amount of water to flourish. Anything extra is a waste. and potentially harmful to the crops. So with satellite technology, we can make sure that those crops are getting the right amount of water as well. Furthermore, it also includes identifying the field performance and benchmarking field. So they are able to actually see the performance of the crops through satellite images and also all this data that's been provided through it. And these performances could also include weather, participation, whether the grower, it allows the grower to compare farm fields on a larger scale and identify field performance below average to implement treatment action if needed. Also to understand the crops are growing according to the plan. There's also run experiments on a larger scale, which is basically the goal of any farmer is to increase their crop yield while minimizing the input. So it wasn't until recently that one could run experiment, but they didn't scale and also weren't suitable for large fields. So this also can potentially include some assistance from UAV to boost up along with satellite technology and provide the best images and also data to the farmers. There are other factors when it comes to satellite technology, including the availability, accessibility, adaptability, affordability, and acceptability, which some of them are issue. For example, availability of satellites today is not as many as it should be, and also considering the cost, considering the technology, although it's a lot cheaper now than, let's say, 10 years ago, but still it's far away from providing a system where these services can easily be available to all the farmers across the world at a very affordable price. But considering the future, considering that the technology we have is far more superior than decades before, I'm quite hopeful that in a couple of decades from now, we can make it much more affordable than today and provide these satellite technologies to a broader range of small-scale farmers. The benefits could also include, like land cover map, soil map, index-based microinsurance, which could also get benefits from it when they want to insure the land. There's also land cover map, soil map, crop growth monitoring, irrigation advices, GPS, meteors for different parts of the map, and so forth. Satellite data, they actually start with providing information, and these images which they provide along with other information that can be extracted from it will significantly help them to actually come up with better methods of farming, and also, as I mentioned before, monitoring as well. So the information chain is usually from data acquisitions to data processing, storage, data analysis, decision support services, capacity building and training, and communication and integration. So these images usually are not provided to the farmers on raw basis. Usually a team of data scientists or they will monitor it, analyze it, summarize it, and through advisors and agricultural engineers, they will provide better advices to the farmers on how actually their crops are doing, how the farm is performing, and also how they can increase their performance. And just in case if there are disasters or other issues, they can be alarmed in advance as well. So one of the factors about satellite technology is the public-private synergetic and partnership that's been around for almost a decade now. You can see a lot of cooperation between public and private sectors in order to create a bridge to provide these services to a broader range of people. And also other factors which are quite important is coordination, transparency in partnership, and also the information chain that can be provided when they team up together. Here is an example of ecosystem of a stakeholder from producing parties, intermediary parties, government, agribusinesses. So the satellite technology for agriculture is not just benefiting the farmer, it benefits a lot more, actually, because like I said, the whole process is not just to provide a raw images of a farm, it's actually to get the raw data, analyze it and provide meaningful information to intermediate parties, contractors, advisors, corporations, large companies, small scale companies, farmers, government agencies, agribusiness such as food industry, and also even insurance, finance, telecom, and so forth. They can all gain advantages from these data. That's it. I hope you have enjoyed my presentation. I wish you a pleasant day. Enjoy your conference.